Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. I am Dr. S. Kamakshi, Head, Associate Professor, PG Department of Accounting and Finance. I am going to teach you sampling design today. First, let us learn the meaning of the term sample design. Actually, it is a definite plan for obtaining a sample from a given population. It refers to the technique or the procedure the researcher would adopt in selecting items for the sample. So here you will be planning how you are going to select the sample for your study, how many samples you are going to take for the study, or what is the sampling methodology you are going to adopt. So that is the whole of it is known as sample design. It is always laid down the number of items to be included in the sample, and it is determined before the data are collected. And there is no specific design for a particular research. So whatever the study you are going to do, the sample design may vary from one another. So the researcher has to select or prepare a sample design which should be reliable and appropriate for his or her research study. There is no common template for everyone. Now let us know how sampling is used in real life. Let me show you some pictures. This one you would have experienced while buying rice from the shop. You will not take the entire bag of rice. You will take few rice and check the quality, then you will buy. So that is called as sampling. So I wanted to explain you that sampling is practiced in real life. Then one more example. So while preparing dishes on everyday basis or for any festival or for guest you are preparing some dish means, then you will be tasting it. You will not consume the entire quantity of the food you have prepared. Only a few 1 teaspoon or like that you will be taking, and you will be testing whether everything is good or not. Then accordingly you will make the changes in the dish. You will add some salt or something else. Then you will complete the cooking. This is also called as sampling. Then buying a book in a shop. This is one more example. Whenever you go and buy a book in a shop, you will not read the entire book in the shop itself. Just you will turn the pages, or you will look into the index of the page book, and you will select whether the book has to be bought or not. Then one more, this is going for a blood test for a laboratory. So when you go for testing your diabetes, the technician in the laboratory will not take the entire blood from your body. Only a sample, a few units of blood will be taken. So that is also called as sampling. So these are all the practical examples of how sampling is used in the real life. Now let us move on to the types of sampling techniques. Basically it is divided into probability and non-probability sampling. So what is probability sampling is that, so when I wanted to do a study from the entire population of Chennai, but it will be very difficult for me to include all the respondents or all the persons who are living in Chennai. So then what I will be doing here is, so I will be selecting a few persons from the population, and I will be calling the group of people whom I am going to select, I will be calling them as the sample. So when I say I am using probability sampling, so I am giving them giving each and every element of the population a chance of being selected. So that is called probability, and mostly it is used in conclusive research only. But when it comes to non-probability sampling, I am not giving them the chance of being selected, and it is mostly used in exploratory research. Next, we move on to the methods. There are 5 methods under probability and another 5 under non-probability also. They are simple random, then cluster, systematic sampling, stratified random sampling. And here again there are 4 methods: convenience, judgmental, snowball and quota sampling. 4 methods in each of the sampling methods. Now first we move on to the simple random sampling method. So these are all the steps to be followed. First you have to make out the list, then you have to assign the sequential number to the list, then choose the sample size which you are going to select for your study, then you have to use the random number generator. This is how simple random sampling technique will be used in the research. So this is the explanation for how the simple random sampling technique will work. There is an example given here. An example of a simple random sample would be the names of 25 employees being chosen from a company out of 250 employees. So there may be 250 employees in the company, but I wanted to study only, for my study I need only the responses from 25 employees. Now how am I going to select these 25? Here the 250 employees is called as population, and the 25 which I am going to select for my study is called as the sample. So mostly simple random technique is used in the following examples. When a company wishes to conduct a random survey from its employees to determine a new schedule change is helpful to them or not. So when there is a change in the timings, or when there is a change in the working pattern, then the company wishes to conduct a survey from the employees whether the employees like it or not. So in that case, they will not conduct the survey with the entire employees of the organization. Only a few employees will be selected for the study. Say for example, the company wants to do the study with 30 employees. In that case, they will be giving a random number to the selected employees. So with them the study will be done. This is one of the example of simple random technique. And let us move on to the systematic sampling now. So the picture explains the systematic sampling. There will be some pattern or system followed in selecting the sample of your study. Let us see how it works. The entire population is arranged in a particular order. The order could be either ascending or descending. For example, there are 1000 grocery shops in a town. Arrange them in their ascending order of sale. So there will be a criterion on which basis you will be arranging the population. Then with first shop having smallest sales and last with the highest sales. This will be the order. Then if you have decided to take only 50 shops, the sampling interval will be total number of shops in the area is 1000 divided by you have decided to take 50, so you will be getting 20. Now the random number which you have selected is 20. Now what you have to do is, the next step is to select a random number from 1 to 20. Any number you can imagine, but here for easy calculation purpose I have taken 10 here. Suppose the number selected is 10, the shop number 10 is to be selected first. Then the second shop will be 10 plus 20. 20 is a random number you have obtained, no? So 10 plus 20, 30. Then the next shop will be 10 plus 2 into 20, 50. So 10th shop, 30th shop, 50th shop, like that it will go on. So there will be a pattern followed in selecting the sample. The next method is called stratified sampling. So stratum means grouping. So you will be grouping the samples into some criteria. That is why it is called as stratified sampling. Look at the picture. The picture denotes how the sampling is being done. Now let's see how it works. The entire population is divided into strata. Strata means groups. Example, when the researcher is interested to know the average monthly sales of mobile phones in large, medium and small stores, separate sampling from each stratum would be called. So you wanted to study how the monthly sales is happening in the mobile showrooms. So for that, what you have to do is, you have to see what are all the shops which are selling, whether it is large one like malls, or whether they are mobile shops like mobile showrooms like Purvika, Sangeeta, like that. Then small stores nearby, you will be having some shops who will be doing mobile repair as well as sales. So you will be collecting the samples from each of the group. That is, large malls also will go and collect the data, in showrooms also will go and collect the data, and nearby shops also will collect the data. So like this you will be getting the sample from all the groups. So in which you are covering all the stratums, it is called stratified sampling technique. Then normally the stratification will be done on the basis of demographic variables only, like age, income, education and gender. So this will be the basic classification of selecting the stratification. Then next we move on to the cluster sampling. So again, cluster is also a group, but there is a difference between the stratified sampling and the cluster sampling. So let's see how it works. The entire population is divided into various clusters. All the elements within the clusters are heterogeneous, but there is homogeneity between the clusters. Let me explain it with an example here. Assume that there is a company having its corporate office in multi-story building. Multi-story building means there will be many floors in the building. In the first floor, you assume that there is a marketing department where the president, vice president and all other levels of employees are there. So, there is a heterogeneous element involved here, that is all the departments of the company are being located in the same building, but in the particular floor there is a marketing department in which other employees are also working. So, there is homogeneity. So, why I am saying this is homogeneity here is the salary or the expenditure or the entertainment which is done by a marketing president or the vice president will differ with the marketing personals, other salesperson or marketing manager, etc. So, in that way it is there is homogeneity, but the same company is having different departments in the same building, so that is heterogeneous. Naturally, there would be lot of variations in the amount of salaries they draw, the vice president, president, there will be difference. Then there would be each of the floors could be treated as a different department. Here we call it as a different cluster. So, this is how cluster sampling will be done. With that we finish off the probability sampling techniques. Now let us move on to the non-probability sampling. So, let me summarize you. Non-probability sampling will not give you, there is no chance of the entire population being selected. So, you are not giving the equal chance of all the population elements to be involved in the study. That is the only difference between the probability sampling and the non-probability sampling. So, here we have got 4 types: convenience, judgmental, snowball and quota. Let us see one by one. First comes convenience sampling. The name itself is very clear to you. For your convenience you are selecting the samples, that is why it is called convenience samplings. Let me explain. Look at the picture. There are many people in which different colors, green, purple, red, red is the researcher, green, purple and blue color are there, but the researcher is selecting only one blue color person, 3 green color. So, why 3 green color is? He is using convenience sampling since all the 3 are known to the researcher, he has selected. Now, let us see how it works. It is used to obtain information quickly and inexpensively. So, convenience sampling will help you to collect the data quickly. Then mostly it is collected from your neighbors, friends, family members, colleagues and passers by. That is why it is called as convenience. I can give you an example here. People interviewed in a shopping mall for their political opinion for a TV program can be called as a convenience sampling technique. And one more example, a researcher visiting a few shops near his residence to observe which brand of a particular product people are buying so as to draw a rough estimate of the market share of the brand. So, here the researcher could have visited many shops which are there in the city, but instead of visiting all of them, he is visiting only the shops which are nearer to him. So, in that way we can say that he is using convenience sampling technique. And where it is used commonly, it is used in exploratory research. And why convenience sampling is used here is when you know only a little about the subject, and convenience sampling will be helpful for you to understand the wide range of the subject area. Next we move on to judgment or purposive. Again, here also you can understand the meaning from the name itself, judgment. So, one who can give the best judgment, only that person, from that person you can collect the data, that is why it is called as judgment or purposive. So, look at the picture here. The researcher is standing in the blue shirt and he is selecting only a few people out of the total people standing here. So, why the particular people are selected for the study? The reason is the judgment of an expert is used to identify a representative sample. See, for example, a company wanting to launch a new product may use judgmental sampling for selecting experts who have prior knowledge or experience of similar products. So, when the company wants to launch a new product, so from with whom they will do the study already who are known to them and who are experts in giving their judgment or their opinion about the products, only with them they will go for the research. So, that is why it is called as judgment sampling, and more of use is being done only in business to business marketing. So, only the technologically significant firms or individuals regularly use judgment sampling to test their new products. So, you know very well that every company will be having a research and R&D department, research and development. So they will be using this kind of sampling technique to test their new products. Then next comes snowball sampling. As you know, snowball is a game which is played. So like that, if you contact the first person, then it will be easy for you to identify the other samples for your study. So look at this, look at the picture. Researchers recruit the initial subjects. So the researcher is initially finding 3 persons. With the help of them, he is finding the other subjects for their study. So generally it is used when it is difficult to identify the members of the desired population. So only the topics in which you are not able to identify your respondents, you will be using snowball sampling. Some of the examples where snowball sampling can be used are when you want to do a study with the person who is doing deep sea driving, and the families which are having triplets, or people who are using walking sticks to walk. So all these are examples. So it is very difficult for you to find the first person for the study. If you could able to identify the first person, that person will help you to get the contact of other persons like them, and through them you can easily collect your data. So that is why it is called as snowball sampling. Then the next one is quota sampling. So look at the picture here. A lady is standing here. She is having a ponytail. But other 3 pictures are also there, but the researcher wants to do a survey only with a lady with ponytail, not with other hairstyle. Okay. Now let me explain how it works. The sample includes a minimum number of each specified subgroup in the population, but the sample is selected on the basis of certain demographic characteristics such as age, gender, occupation, education, etc. So we will be having some criteria as a basis. On that basis only we will be selecting the sample for you. It may look similar to the stratified sample, but there are differences between the two. So let's see what are the differences between the two. The selection of sample from stratum is random in stratified sampling, but the respondents may be chosen at the convenience of the researcher in case of quota sampling. When it comes to random stratified sampling, the results of stratified sampling could be generalized, but the results of quota sampling could not be generalized. So these are the differences between stratified over quota sampling. Now with that we have completed all the techniques of sampling design. Now let's have a case study question. I have put a question for you. Read the question, read the case study, then try to answer the questions. So from the case study itself you can answer these questions, these 4 questions. Otherwise you can even try to recap whatever you have studied or refer the textbooks, then you can answer these 4 questions. That's all about today's class. Thank you.